Welcome to the Fantasy 40 Podcast with your host, John Dabari.
I can beat the shit out of Hollywood Brown if you'd like.
Matt Walker.
Like the DK Metcalf of running back.
And Andrew Burke.
I love Hakeem Butler, actually. He's starting to grow on me.
Remember to like, rate, subscribe on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. Follow the guys on Twitter at the Fantasy 40. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Fantasy 40 Podcast. We are back. Myself, Andrew Burke, John Dabari, and Matt Walker. Today is a special day. I'm down here in Orlando, so enjoying my vacation, taking the time out. Actually, I'm not changing anything up. I'm still drinking, having a good time with the boys. How you doing, fellas?
Listen, the fact that you're even subjecting yourself to this on vacation is beyond me. But this was your idea, so no holds barred.
We've already missed, 2 or 3 weeks this off season. We got to keep the show rolling,
And you're on vacation too. John already had vacation one in the bag. So, the constant is you assholes going on vacation.
Well, aren't you moving this week or in the process of moving?
I'm moving next week. That's my 4th of July holiday.
Man,
I'll be lifting furniture.
You know how to plan ahead, Walker. But John, how goes it, bro?
I am just looking forward to the Florida Man internet headline with your face in it in the next 3 weeks.
Oh, man, they do have some crazy damn stories down here.
I'm sure you're on your way.
I don't know if I could top these. And if you hear some giggling in the background, we do have a special guest. It's my boy Coven from Missouri. We're on vacation together. He wanted to check it out and see what the Fantasy 40 is all about live. So it's like the Howard Stern. What's that one dude's name? Baba Booey that just sits in the background and spouts off every now and then.
We've got a studio of one.
Just giggles off camera.
We don't even need a laptop anymore. We're good to go.
So curious what he's doing right now.
And before we go any further, I just want to thank our partners and our friends over at the Full-Time Fantasy Network. We got big things going. There's 18, 19 podcasts on the network right now. You got Devi. The list goes on and on. I'm on vacation, so
it's endless.
It's endless. So
they have it.
Devi, Dynasty, Redraft. They'll come to my head once the Coors Lights stop flowing. But we definitely want to give you guys a big shout out. Thanks for having us. I think, John, you're taking the lead on this one, right?
Reluctantly, I made a suggestion, and I was thrust into the role of show host this week, so I guess so.
All right, well, let's see. Is there any news we want to get to before we thrust into John's segment? I like that.
Yeah. Before the thrusting begins, let's talk about the recent report saying that the Chiefs believe that Tyreek Hill could be suspended by the NFL as soon as next month. John, you said he wasn't getting suspended at all. He's definitely getting suspended.
Nope, I'm sticking to it.
100%.
I stuck by it. I'm riding it out.
You know what?
The police already moved on. The Chiefs will move on. And for anything alleged with the kid is where I'm sticking to. If he lied to the Chiefs and the Chiefs are like, screw this guy, then that's a separate issue. But I don't think he gets any games for anything related to this broken arm.
Then why did Zeke get suspended last year?
Because,
if
we want to get into the deep NFL politics and everything, I think the NFL was trying to stick Jerry Jones and all that backroom dealing bullshit, but he shouldn't have been suspended either, but.
Yeah, we can never know the truth. There's been even talks that, there wasn't concrete evidence, but they actually had evidence that the police didn't even go forth with, being Texas or whatever. So, I was in 2 or 3 startups this offseason, got into some more dynasty leagues, and I honestly got Tyreek in the midst of it in 7th to 9th rounds. And whenever the news came out, I'm not going to say I was jumping for joy and heel clicking, but it wasn't anything that short of that. So.
This is a no-edit show, by the way.
No edit show. I'll post
straight there.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill's getting 8 games or more.
I say 4. John?
Oh, John's was 0.
I think it's 0. But what's entertaining to me is the stupid policy is 6. They went nuts after the Ray Rice fiasco, and they're like, it's going to be a 6 thing. 6 games, that's what you get. And no one's gotten 6. Everybody gets 4 or 8 or some other weird arbitrary number.
Yeah, I mean, Zeke got 6, and I thought he was going to beat it in the Supreme Court. That fucker should have done it at the beginning of the year.
That dude took it too far.
Yeah, he
screwed up one of my redrafts.
I think he should have pushed it.
Keeping it real goes wrong, but
I get for drafting a Cowboy.
Shut up, Walker. John, explain the show and what we got in store.
So what we're kind of doing is a mystery who am I thing. So I've got some interesting, at least I thought they were interesting. We'll find out real quick. Some interesting stats or fantasy stuff. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of clues, and you're going to guess who I'm talking about. I've got 5 kind of in-depth ones, and then I've got 7 real short. Just this guy did this. Who am I talking about? And a player comparison thing. So ready when you fellas are.
I think Walker's going to slaughter me, but I got a little help, so let's do it.
There's nothing better when John preps for shows. When he's leading out, there's so much effort involved and handwriting. I just can't contain myself.
This is not a video thing, but I've got a notebook and a pen in hand. It's all handwritten always.
What's that one movie?
Typing's for nerds.
Matt Damon. You're like one of those dudes that just need a whiteboard and you solve any equation. All right, let's hear it.
We've seen my math on this show. Are you out of your fucking mind?
He uses computers for that type of shit.
11 plus 3 is 22. Let's go.
That's better than me. So I'll jump in with one of the easy ones. Well, kind of easy. It's a short one, but just something I found when I was going through all this stuff. Do you know who had the second most rushing touchdowns last year among quarterbacks?
Well, do we take turns guessing, or how's this work? Is this
we kind of go back and we could just shout out answers, whatever.
I'm clicking my button and nothing's happening here.
I was going to say, you said yes immediately. It usually is followed by said answer. When you jump the gun
my
like
guess
that.
would be Josh Allen.
Second most.
Don't be looking it up.
I'm not looking it up. In my hands. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott.
You are correct. I thought the Cowboys fan had it. Dak was number 2 in rushing touchdowns among quarterbacks. Allen was number 1. I thought that was surprising when I went through some stats.
Well, Dak scores 6 every year, so I figured it was pretty good. The odds were in my favor. I didn't know Josh Allen was 1, to be totally honest with you. I knew he had a lot, but
didn't make me look that bad, so I'll take the number 1 guy.
You're still wrong.
So now I'm going to go. You'll kind of see how these more in-depth ones work. I'll give you guys a clue, and if you feel like guessing after each clue, you can. Otherwise, when I'm done, we'll open the floor up to guesses. This gentleman only played in 12 games last year, and he averaged 14.8 points per game. If he kept that up through a 16-game season, he would have had 236 points and would have been running back 11.
All right, I'll guess first and give Walker. Melvin Gordon.
Walker?
Stoney Michel.
Both of you, false.
Damn it. All right.
Even with those 12 games, he ended up fantasy RB21, which was much higher than I would have guessed.
Go ahead, your turn first. I'm tired of it.
You don't have to. If you don't know, I got more clues. If you guys don't want to guess, I'll just jump to the next one.
Yeah, at least throw a guess and narrow it down. It's like, guess who? Do you have great hair?
All right, Adrian Peterson.
False.
Dude, my brain is wrecked. And
Andy was an RB2. I'll go to the next one then.
Philip Lindsay?
Incorrect.
Damn it.
He shared a backfield with someone else who was RB27, and that actually surprised the hell out of me. So this team had 2 running backs, RB21 and 27. PPR scoring, by the way.
12 games is really throwing me off because I got plenty of names that I think fit in there, but I'm just trying to think of who didn't start. I don't want to say James White. That's too easy.
Well, no, because he was an RB1. We already had this conversation too.
I know, but it depends on what format. Is this PPR, right?
Yes.
That was my guess.
I'm an absolute loss here. Who's
Make it a
21?
footpad, John.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I'm just like, who just played 12 games and averaged 14 points a game in PPR?
14.8, almost 15.
15 points. Hey, straight out the gate. I'm
There's
not
no
even
way.
going to guess.
And the final clue, he was a boom or bust player. He had 115. He had more than 115 yards in 5 games and had 50 or less in 6 games.
Has your buddy got any guesses over there?
Yeah.
I didn't answer the question. He's texting my wife.
I'm going to throw out Deion Lewis.
Eh.
All right. Figured.
Should have had a fucking buzzer ready for this.
Dalvin Cook.
False. It was
I know he didn't even play 12 games.
the Indianapolis Colts, Marlon Mack.
Wow. Who was 27?
Naheem Hines.
All right.
Good job, John.
Pretty crazy, right? I didn't know any of those things. When I was looking this up, I was like, get out of here.
Well, I know he ended up with 1,000 all-purpose and 10 touchdowns. Like games he played in the back half of the year, he was amazing.
It's crazy.
I don't think all those yards were against the Cowboys in that one, week 13 or some shit.
He was much better than I thought.
That was a beautiful game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go back
All
to
right.
I'll go back to another short one here, another quick hitter. This gentleman, among guys who played, 12 plus games at quarterback, he threw the fewest touchdowns, was 30th overall in touchdowns thrown. Gentlemen who finished ahead of him were Nick Mullins and Joe Flacco.
Go ahead.
This one might be easy.
Yeah, I think it's Walker's poster boy. Go ahead, say it.
My post, well, I'm going with Josh Allen.
I'm going with the other rookie of Lamar Jackson.
I don't think he started 12 games, did he? Neither of them might have started 12 games.
No, it
Davis.
doesn't have to be 12. They played at least 12 because some of these guys didn't play a full season. But he played most of the year and ended up with 11 touchdowns.
All right, so neither of us were correct.
It was Marcus Mariota threw fucking 11 touchdowns on me.
Oh, disgusting.
That's awful.
No wonder
That's
no one
horrendous.
likes Corey Davis.
Listen, full court fade on Eddie Tennessee Titan.
So
Yuck. I'm kind of glad
Yes.
I didn't know that one.
I couldn't believe it was only 11, and I have him in a couple leagues.
Oh, I could believe it. I've tried to trade him unsuccessfully in the
I'm
friggin'
going by.
Infinity Wars league we have, and no one wants them for second round picks. I'm like, it's a super flex league. Yeah, I'm good.
I'll
I
give you a
may
fourth.
be interested. You still got him?
No, I'll give you a fourth for him. I was first.
All right,
A
bidding
fourth.
war.
I said a second.
I don't have
Let's
those.
bring it up a
Now we're in a-
fourth of
Now we're in a bidding war. I'll give you a third. All right.
You know
I'm
where to
gonna
find me.
Stick with quarterbacks. He was excluding Lamar Miller, who wasn't a quarterback for the first couple weeks, but he was
Lamar
on the
Jackson.
field.
Lamar Miller should be a quarterback.
That's true.
Yeah.
Excluding Lamar Jackson, who played 16 games but didn't really play 16 games. He was the lowest scoring fantasy quarterback who played 16 full games last year. Well, 16 games.
Case Keenum.
Eh.
Damn it. I so wanted that to be the right answer.
Kirk.
I know you did.
No, I didn't. That did not come out. I didn't mean to say that.
Did Josh Rosen start 16 games last year?
I think he was 14 or 15.
I felt like Bradford went out right away. Obviously, that's not the answer either. All right.
Eli Manning.
False.
Yeah.
He finished at QB 19, just behind Derek Carr, who was 17, and Case Keenum, who was 18. So you're not too far, Walker.
Shitty team. We stunk. Started all our games.
Too bad Carson Wentz got hurt. I'd say that, but
Son of a bitch.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. Got it.
Uh,
Here, I'll give you the last clue because it's not really going to help. He only averaged 13.3 points per game as a quarterback. So he averaged less points a game than Marlon Mack.
and you took Lamar Jackson out of the equation?
Yes.
Andy Dalton.
False.
He got hurt.
He's giving me so many clues. If I don't write them down,
I know.
I'm guessing from the current clue. That's all I'm guessing from.
Worst players, and it's not. I don't know.
Case Keenum would have been my guess every time he gave a clue.
I mean, you weren't far off. Keenum was 18. This guy was 19.
How many games you said? 12?
16. Played every game.
This is amazing.
Burke's got nothing. You want the answer?
Yeah.
It is the Detroit Lions' very own Matthew Stafford.
Really?
What a terrible year.
Holy moly.
Think about him.
Didn't something just come out that he had a broken back? He was playing with the same thing that
I
Romo.
think after week 11 or something, they said.
No.
Hey, at least he can pound beers with the best of them. You know what I mean?
Should be on vacation with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. I don't know if he can.
So another quick one. Amari Cooper had 76 targets last year. Another wide receiver who no one is absolutely going to guess. A couple guys were tied at 76. But can you take a wild guess? Who had as many targets as Amari Cooper last year? Think bottom of the barrel.
Bottom of the barrel.
Zay Jones?
Beyond bottom.
He had way more than that.
Put someone under the barrel.
Oh.
It blew my mind that this person had 76 catches. You've heard of Zay Jones.
Catches? Or
I'm sorry, targets.
Tavon Austin.
No, he only had 60 or 50 or something.
Listen, he said, lift up the barrel. Look under said barrel.
Well, just get off the Cowboys, man. There's other shitty barrels.
Taylor Gabriel. Andrew's boy.
Just attacking me.
I kind of feel like there's a point to this question for John.
There's not. It was a name I couldn't believe had 76 targets. It was Jermaine Curse.
Oh, yes. Who else were they going to besides Robbie Anderson and Nunwell? He was the third guy, right?
He wasn't even on the radar. I think that it was 26th overall for targets in the league. That's insane.
Yeah, he had a couple week stretch because they put him in a slot and he was just getting peppered with targets when they moved Nunwell outside and rendered him useless.
Jesus, John is just killing us right now. Walker, it's kind of embarrassing.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about that one at all.
No, that one. I mean, you would never know. But I just
other
seeing he was next to Cooper's name was crazy. So back to Guess Who I Am. He finished the year as a bust at wide receiver 40, and another clue, he had a teammate that was 41. And he was definitely a bust based on ADP last year.
Allen Robinson. It's somebody in Chicago. They're all
God damn it, he hit the nail on the head. First guess.
41 was Anthony Miller?
41 was Taylor Gabriel.
I was going to say, I didn't think Miller made it that high. Well,
you guys
hate Allen Robinson, so.
The other clues I had was he was
Allen Robinson. I know.
He was a team's wide receiver one coming into the year, and the team had the 9th highest scoring average at 26 a game, and he still only finished 40th overall.
He's one of my biggest buy low targets right now. But it seems like, we always talk about that, and then, when you go to buy low, the only people that own Allen Robinson are guys like me. It's I need 2 firsts for him at the least, bro.
I had written this down because it did come up, and you brought up Taylor Gabriel already because I knew we can't not talk about Taylor Gabriel. Allen Robinson had 94 targets. Taylor Gabriel had 93. Robinson only had 55 catches. Gabriel 67, but Robinson had 754 yards and 4 touchdowns. Gabriel 688 and 2. So he outperformed him even though he caught less on the same amount of targets.
Wow. Well, I mean, my night is made. Fucking
got one.
Called your shot.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Allen Robinson, by the way. I think
you are
great by though. Yeah, 100%. Can't be any worse than it was last year.
Not to go on a side tangent, but let's talk about it because I think he is one of, with this. Hopefully, no one's drafting right now. Honestly, doing a rookie draft still. But I mean, what would you to acquire him? What's the most you would pay, or what would you need to give him up? I guess.
I'd probably give up just about anything on the back half of a rookie draft, first rounder, to get him. You give me after like 1.6, 1.7, I'd strongly consider it with my team.
I've never been sold on him, and I don't necessarily trust Trubisky yet, so I'm not buying. If I had him, I'd be selling, but I've never been buying, so I'm still not. What is he? Year 5 now? 2 good years, 3 bad?
I'd say 1 good year and 1, medium year, but
He also had an ACL year.
exactly.
So,
And the year afterwards, when Blake Bortles was just trash, until the playoffs when he was just scrambling around running for his life. I mean, I feel like A-Rob never had that year with Blake Bortles, it was a lot of garbage time at the end of the games, and A-Rob going up, making plays on these little Hail Mary balls but Bortles is just throwing it up. And I feel like Trubisky and Nagy is not allowing him to do that in that offense. It's pretty good structure. I kind of like what's in store for the Bears in general and Allen Robinson personally.
I like on paper, and I like everything I hear, but I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I think Trubisky has the second fewest college starts of any NFL quarterback in history. I think he's behind Castle. He might be third. Might be Castle and then Mark Sanchez and then
literally he had 1 season. I think Allen Robinson has a wide receiver 2 season on him this year. I think it's his second year in the offense. It was his first year with a new scheme, with a new quarterback off the ACL. I'm gonna give him a pass for last year.
All right, Walker. Last before we give it back to John is Sammy Watkins or Allen Robinson.
Sammy Watkins.
Oh!
It's going to be a wide receiver 1 this year.
Jesus.
Not with Tyreek coming to town.
8-game suspension.
Sammy fans are fucking delusional.
Build a comfortable lead.
Delusional.
Listen,
all right.
There's nothing better than the Sammy hate. It was like Ebron hate 2 years ago.
I should have never.
I just sit here and I just wait for my time.
7 years in the making.
I'm comfortable. I'm not going anywhere.
All right. Comparing 2 tight ends. So see if you can guess who they are.
Oh, if I don't get these.
They both got 88 targets last year. I'll call one player A and one player B. On those 88 targets, player A had 71 receptions. Player B had 56.
Walker, come on, tight end guru.
Just 2 random 88 target guys.
I'll give you their ADP this year. Player A, his ADP is 121st. Player B is 87.
I'll try one, Walker, just to give you I'm going to say Vance McDonald is one of them.
That's where I went right away. But I don't know if he's the 80 or the 121 or either.
You are both incorrect.
Okay.
Player A, on his 71 receptions, 660 yards and 4 touchdowns. Player B, 56 receptions, so a much shittier reception rate, 639 yards and also 4 touchdowns. So same amount of targets, way more receptions for player A. Yardage negligible and touchdowns were the exact same.
I know the second guy now because I own him in a few places, and he was an utter disappointment other than getting carried into the end zone in one intriguing matchup, and that is David Njoku for sure.
That is player B. So here, Njoku had 88 targets, 56 catches, 639 yards, 4 touchdowns, 27 first downs, and his current ADP is 87th.
Yeah, I remembered that exact stat line because I think I wrote it in like 7 straight articles about David Njoku being a disappointment. The other guy, how many catches did he have on 88 targets?
71.
Christ,
oh, wow.
Tremendous catch rate.
These are
Kyle Rudolph.
False.
These are the numbers that I wish Gerald Everett would get at some point. But that's not my guess.
I mean, 81 is like, what, 7th round?
The 8th or 7 and change. So
Yeah. What tight end? O.J. Howard didn't play enough games.
Njoku is number 2 for sure, going in the 7th, 8th. The other guy going 121, who is someone I'm targeting a lot, especially in redraft this year. I don't know. I haven't kicked the tires on him in my dynasty leagues. I don't know what his cost is, but you're going to get him basically 2 rounds later, and the production was better. Any guess?
I hate tight end. First of all, I just always have Jason Witten. I don't even care. Give me 4 points. I'm fine with it.
Hold on. So Njoku's the one going 81st overall? The other guy we're guessing
Njoku's going
120?
87. This guy's going 121.
Chris Herndon.
No. It was Austin Hooper.
I hate Austin Hooper.
Half of it was in like 3 games. Dude. It happens every year, but I hear you.
No, he's the guy everyone's touting. No, Cutter's coming back. He's progressing every year. He's only like 24, 25 years old. He's like everyone's tight end darling this year.
Ooh, Hooper?
Because he is still undervalued, yeah.
I haven't heard anybody talking about him. I thought I was onto something. I was like, ooh.
Well, shit, his ADP still shit, so.
Yeah.
I think I said
if you're in a draft, and don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Njoku guy, especially in Dynasty, but, if you're in a redraft startup this year and I could get the same slightly better stats 2 rounds later.
I'm going to have to rewind because I'm pretty sure I gave a Hooper take earlier this offseason, but I just can't recall what show it was. But I hear you. The value is definitely there, especially the tight end position. I mean, if you don't get – now there's no more Gronk. It's life without Gronk, so now it's kind of a wait plan. We kind of learned that last year.
I picked up an orphan that had Kelsey and Njoku as a tight end, and it's only a 1 tight end league. So I traded Njoku for Goddard and a 3rd round pick, and I am extremely happy about that trade. I don't need Goddard this year, and
yeah,
I kind of want to.
I get the move.
Sorry to interrupt, but what's the separation between Kelsey and Njoku? Just because I would rather dump Kelsey at this point. I know unless you're a win now, but
yeah, the team's good. I mean, I'm not going to walk away from that, but yeah, I know his window is closing. But Njoku's is just, I know the kid's still young, but with that roster now, he's just not going to get the volume. I mean, he would have to get to like 8 or 9 touchdowns to be a tight end 1 probably, because he's not even going to see probably the 88 targets he saw last year. I think he sees less than 88 targets this year.
Cleveland's going to be a shit show, dude. Talk about a Madden team.
You want Baker Mayfield and then cross your fingers at everybody else.
He spreads it around. That's the thing. Odell's going to get his, but there's enough in that offense that Antonio Callaway can be great for Baker and still be a shitty fantasy.
I just moved Antonio Callaway to my tax squad, and I'm like, yes. Yeah.
Just sit on that for a year and see what happens.
Hell yeah.
So I'll give you another quick one here. He scored 7 touchdowns. Speaking of John Ross last week, scoring 7. This guy scored another quiet 7. He was the 2nd highest scoring rookie wide receiver behind Calvin Ridley, touchdown-wise, not fantasy points total. He finished wide receiver 59 with the stat line of 33, 423, and the 7 I mentioned.
It can't be Kirk, right?
False.
Yeah. Hey, this might be dumb. All right, I'm editing this shit out. Go ahead, Walker, again.
You're wearing that. Like Christian Kirk, you're eating it.
I'm like, shit, who were the rookie? This is how bad it was. I'm like, who were the rookie wide receivers last year? I first off the top of my head, I thought Dante Pettis. There was no way he scored 7 touchdowns.
When I said...
I'll give you guys one more hint.
No. But when
I got a good one.
All right.
One of you have already mentioned his name today.
Anthony Miller. There it is.
Bing, 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 bing.
I was going to say, you know how many names we mentioned? Guessing these wrong?
Bing, bing, but rookie.
Narrow. Sure.
Yeah, Anthony Miller finished with 7 too, which if you would have told me Anthony Miller and John Ross scored a combined 14 touchdowns last year, I would have told you you're out of your fucking mind.
They're like the Eric Ebron of the tight end or the wide receiver duo.
It's crazy.
Didn't Ebron score like 12 in one game, though? Eric Ebron.
He might have.
Didn't he have a 3? He had a 3, didn't he?
He did. I
think
it's a game where he ran. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to end around and fucking run it in. And I was just like, oh, my God, Walker's in the bathroom right now in the middle of a party just repeating himself.
pants are ruined. So this
Pants were off on the second touchdown.
This wide
Everyone else's problem
receiver
after
played
that.
16 games last year, averaged 11.8 points per game, and finished a pretty shocking, in my opinion, wide receiver 2, exactly at wide receiver 24 overall.
Kind of missed the beginning.
16 games, 11.8 points per game.
He played all, huh?
Yep.
Just PPR?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's pretty shitty.
Wide receiver. 22, you said? Wide receiver
24.
24.
He was the bottom end wide receiver, too.
Alshon,
All right.
yeah.
False. On to the next clue, I'm thinking, by the looks on your faces. He only had more than 80 yards twice, and both of those games were only 82 yards. So he wasn't voluming his way into that either with yardage.
There's no way it's Cole Beasley.
No. Stop it. You could do better than that.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think who was a disappointment that played 16 games and ended up as a wide receiver.
Well, you're
too.
saying
He
over
wasn't. This is not a disappointment.
Oh.
This guy is not someone you.
Oh,
I
he
did
should have
not
been.
even. He should have been worse. I think so.
Okay. Well, I thought you said disappointment. That was...
Yeah, in my mind, this is not a
You're
wide
kicking
receiver.
ass. I don't want to say Albert Wilson, but did he?
He didn't play 16 games.
No.
He played like
That's
5.
true. I forgot.
He averaged 4.75 receptions per game, and in 6 times he caught 6 balls or more,
Jesus.
including 10 balls twice during the year.
What? Holy moly.
Yeah, crazy, right?
2 10-catch games.
And averaged 4.75.
Okay, Walker, who the hell do the Seahawks have? Because they don't have any receivers.
Yeah, it wasn't Russell and sure it wasn't Doug Baldwin and sure shit wasn't Tyler Lockett. He didn't get them. I don't think he caught 10 balls all year. He caught 10 touchdowns. Never had more than 82 yards in a game?
Had 82 twice.
So the dude caught 10 balls twice and never had more than 82 yards.
Yes, sir.
Golden Tate.
I'm sorry. 10. I'm sorry.
Golden Tate.
10 targets twice. 10 plus
That's
targets.
a good one. Golden Tate. I would agree there. Go ahead.
It was not Golden Tate.
Damn it. Just going to keep guessing Eagles until you tell me I'm right. Okay, so the 10 targets thing, they do 10 catches. I'm like, if I don't know a guy that caught 10 balls twice in a season.
Hold on a second. Is it one of the Valdez or
Nope. False.
right, not the Packers?
He had 105 total targets. So I think that's a pretty good number of somebody involved, but 105 targets. He had, I mentioned the 10 plus targets twice. He had 5 or less in 6 games, though.
Zay Jones.
That's a good guess, but that's not it. And this is his, he's going into this was his 4th season. The last 4 years, he finished wide receiver 40 in 2015, 83 in 2016, and wide receiver 61 in 2017. And then now he's 24.
This is horrible, dude.
I picked hard ones. I mean, I was looking for weird stat lines.
So this is the guy that sucked for the first 3 years he was in the league and then posted a respectable
You'll know
wide
his
receiver
name.
2 finish. Did he play for the same team all 4 years?
I'm just going
Yes,
to
he
name
did.
shitty
Yeah.
receivers like
Same team for 4 years, and he's on a new team this year.
Funchess.
Close, but no.
Oh, dude, he was bagging his beer. He was so sure of himself.
on my head.
New team this year.
Are you ready for the reveal?
Just do it already.
No.
No? Well, I was
No.
thinking.
Give me
I
2
like
seconds.
it.
Oops.
I think who switched teams?
I'll give you one last clue that'll make you probably know for sure.
Dude, you're kicking our ass tonight. Bro.
Yeah.
Pick hard ones. Well, not hard. These are weird numbers, right? I had nothing to do at work, so I've just been scouring these bizarre stat lines. Like, what the fuck am I looking at here? going through game logs.
All right, give me the last
Like
clip.
Walker said, I got my notepad out. I'm out here jotting down notes. I was prepared.
I'm at a loss right now.
It is
I'm
the
gonna-
gentleman who selected his new team over the Patriots, allegedly, Mr. Adam Humphries of the Tennessee Titans.
and I own him everywhere too.
Never in a million years.
Wide receiver
Adam Humphries,
24.
That makes sense because I know he got a few big volume games, but wow, that's strange.
Let's move on from that guy.
I got one more quick two-player odd comparison. I just thought their finishes were strikingly similar for guys that kind of have the same kind of vibe going into this year too. They're kind of thrust in a new role, and people seem to be a little more excited about both of them than I am. But they finished player A was wide receiver 30. Player B was wide receiver 33. A had 182 points. B had 173. They each caught 66 balls. Player A had 872 yards and 4 touchdowns. Player B had 717 and 5.
Come on, Walk. You just wanted me to give my shitty guesses, and then you.
Listen, I haven't done any better. Your shitty guesses haven't helped me at all.
You're winning. You're winning 1-0, Burke.
Yeah. Hey, I got the easy Dak Prescott. He doesn't get the win.
Oh, that's true. All right.
He gets his own guy.
Oh,
1-1. Tied
Me.
with 2 questions to go.
It's a fucking pillow fight over here.
Oh, here we go. This is for the win.
I mean, this
Hold
one
on,
isn't a guess. I just thought it was 2 weird guys.
They were both in the wide receiver 30s. Is that what you said?
30 and 33.
I'm just guessing guys I think were flex wide receivers.
Sammy Watkins.
They both have higher. I would never. I don't even look. I see Sammy's name. I just continue on.
He knows I would guess it eventually.
They're both expected to have a bigger, more expanded role this year. One has a new quarterback. One lost the wide receiver that was ahead of him.
Didn't help. John's moved on to a different beer too. So he's
Oh, here we go.
I have.
There's no way Deshaun Hamilton got that many yards, did he?
No, sir.
All right.
Nah, he was in like the
Just
50s.
confirming my thoughts.
He was in the 50s with wide receivers. One got a new quarterback, and the other, the receiver in front of him is gone. Was that the
Sir. You know what's disappointing me? Walker's
DJ
really
Moore.
Walker's trying, and he's doing bad.
DJ Moore.
It's not DJ Moore.
Portland Sutton. I'm going to stay in Denver.
Nope.
Damn it.
Like I said, I was more intrigued that they both finished right next to each other in the 30s there because I didn't think either one of them had a good enough season. Like Walker said, you're talking a
Are you
wide
taking-
receiver 3 or a flex
I'm
guy.
gonna start asking for clues. Are they rookies?
No. One was.
Photo
guy-
Fred. Get your buddy back in here.
Can I use the lifeline, please?
I'll give you the answer. It was player A is Sterling Shepard. Player 2 is D.D. Westbrook.
Neither were rookies.
Westbrook wasn't he? Or
No.
2 years ago. 2 years? King Shithead is on year 3 now?
Yeah,
Pretty
man.
sure I'm pretty sure they were in the same draft class. Right?
Yeah, him and Fournette came in together.
All right. Well, that wasn't my clue. You asked me. I took a guess. But yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know they both caught 66 balls. I didn't know they were both like Walker said. Wide receiver 3 conversation, flex. I had no clue. I thought both those guys were off the radar because they were off mine. So I thought they outperformed. And I think, given, with Beckham out of the picture and with Foles coming in, they both have a shot to play better this year than they did last year. So those are 2 players I wasn't even thinking of as possible wide receiver 2s, but they're definitely guys I'm going to be monitoring going forward now.
And you
Because
can
I have to look into this.
Yeah.
Last year, what did D.D. Westbrook do in week 16? No, that wasn't it. Was it week 14? All I know is in my home league, the guy that won it started D.D. Westbrook all throughout the playoffs and won my home league. And Westbrook had a 7 for 88 and 1 touchdown game in week 14. He didn't do shit 15 or 16, but
that's where
all I remember is he had a big game in the playoffs. So I was just like, of course, this is
Well,
my
that's
life.
where I was going to go with it, Walker. I know we've talked about it the last, at least few weeks or months here and there sporadically about Westbrook. And the thing is, on the Twitterverse, we don't I still don't see too much about him. I won't say he's a buy low because I think people are kind of buying into him being Nick Foles' main target at this point because they didn't do anything in the draft to change it. DJ Shark didn't show anything last year. I mean, I own Westbrook in quite a few spots, but he's somebody that I'm still trying to attack in quite a few leagues while you can, because I think they're going to move him around a little bit more, and hopefully the offense evolves with Fournette hopefully toting the rock and making, 8-man boxes, 8-man fronts, or whatever you want to call it, bringing people down on the box, and Westbrook more available. I'm pretty high on him coming into this year for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised he even got to 101 targets, and I expected a bigger yards per reception average out of Westbrook, but he just hasn't been as explosive in the NFL thus far. But he had 3 big games last year. He had a 9-catch, 130-yard game. He had a 4-catch, 82-yard, and a touchdown game. Then he had that aforementioned 7 for 88 and a touchdown. They're all big time wide receiver 1/2 games from a fantasy perspective, but then he had a lot of duds interspersed in there.
Lots of them.
Yeah,
2 for
nice.
2
for 19
19
against Pittsburgh. Yeah, 4 for 17 against Houston.
That's
really lit up the
killer.
stat sheet. Yeah, that's like a Nelson Aguilar line.
Yeah, this boom or bust is catastrophic for you. And like you said, if you got in the playoffs with him, you had to start him championship weekend. He got you 3 for 10.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks for nothing, pal. Second place it is.
Yeah, not for everyone. But I agree. I'm on Westbrook.
Yeah.
He keeps dodging that police blotter, much to John's chagrin. Shit is going to happen.
I like it.
One of our worst takes ever. I mean, we thought he was going to be gone in like 6 weeks. I mean,
that was largely John's take. For what it's worth. John was like, this dude is destined for prison. Not just jail. I mean, prison.
How do you get kicked out of the combine interviews?
Shockingly, it seems like that's not that uncommon of occurrence anymore. These guys that don't want to test, like all of a sudden just like flip off a nurse or refuse to stand in line. They're like, all right, I'll see you at the pro day.
Obviously, we're not in those rooms, and we haven't had a guest on yet to let us know. But they're asking some crazy shit. Like, is your dad gay? And when he was turned gay, did your mom buy crack from the guy around the corner? Just to see how they respond. Some guys walk out.
Yeah, and I mean, he had. Yeah, I'm going to say convictions. I may be wrong. It may just be arrests. So allegedly, I'll say to cover my ass. But he's got, I think, 2 or 3 arrests in college for domestic violence. Like, I don't see how you do that and get kicked out of combine interviews and then magically turn it around. If he did, good for him. But for the hater in me, I was rooting for his face on every headline.
Jack.
Dead bodies behind him.
They're just patrolling for Fournette. Like, I dare him to cruise down the highway. They ain't even looking D.D. Westbrook's way right now. But is that all you had for us?
I have one more good one with a bunch of clues.
I knew it.
No more little ones. I have one to close out. On a per-game basis, this gentleman was only outscored by 11 other running backs. So it's a running back.
Come again?
On a per-game basis, he was only outscored by 11 other running backs. He scored 15.1 points per game. I'm not going to tell you how many games he played because you'll probably hit it.
Yeah, I thought you were ending the clue with the first half of it. Dalvin Cook.
False.
I was going with someone I thought played 8 games.
I'm pretty sure he tried to give you Joe Mixon here. But Joe Mixon was
Joe Mixon. Yeah.
Yep.
He's amazing. Joe Mixon.
Some of my tracks. Did Derrick Henry with his 2 big games fall into that place? That's what I said, Derrick Henry.
False. He had no 100-yard rushing games this year and finished as RB40.
Good.
No 100-yard? Oh, my God.
All right. So it means he didn't play a lot of games. He scored some touchdowns because he never got to 100 yards. So per game he was decent, but he didn't play enough.
PPR and
even in the top 3 running backs.
Before you really weigh the touchdowns, it was PPR, and I'll give you some catching stats here. He had 5 games over with 3 or more receptions. He had 6 total touchdowns, and he caught 84.6% of all of his targets. He was on pace, if he played 16 games, to have 44 catches last year. And this is a misdirection. You guys, this is a clue that on pace for 44, you guys are going to think somebody totally different. And the last clue, I'll tell you how many games he played.
Kerryon Johnson.
False.
It better not be Lamar Miller. Don't end it.
Also false.
He played way too many games.
Yeah, don't end it on Lamar Miller.
So he only played
Edit
8
this
games.
shit out.
Only played 8 games, 5 games. He had 3 or more receptions. That's the last clue, 8 games.
You want to show some love for your boy Kareem Hunt somehow? I don't know.
No, per game was way higher than that. He might.
Per game, Hunt might have been an RB1.
Yeah, Hunt might have
He was
44 catches
20-something.
in the 8 games he played.
True. Very true.
That's also true.
He played 8 games. Wow.
I can see Walker's hair turning gray.
I want this one so bad.
I'll give you another hint just from headlines lately. He has been getting talked up as being more involved in the passing game going forward. Like I said, he's on pace for 44. So if they're going to get him more and he plays a full 16, we could see somebody cracking that 50 mark, which is the, holy grail for PPR RB1s. For most people, anyway.
What was his? What did he finish? What did he finish? RB what?
He finished RB 40 in 8 games.
Shad Penny. Damn it!
False.
Leonard Fournette.
Bing, bing, bing! Fournette for the win.
Now your hands are up. I saw it.
Walker wins 2-1 in a fucking contest of attrition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I when I looked into Fournette's catching numbers, I was surprised how active he was, considering Yeldon had a pretty good stat line out of the backfield as a receiver. So he was on pace for 44 with someone else getting a huge chunk of the work. So if they're talking him up, we don't need for me to go on a Leonard Fournette love fest tangent here, but he can easily get 50 plus if he stays on the field. I mean, he was on pace to do it last year.
He certainly can. 1, I did not know Fournette only played 8 games last year. That partially threw me off. 2, 6 touchdowns in 8 games is an awful lot. So it was speaking to my touchdowns in the limited amount he played. But if you didn't give that more involved in the passing game, 2 names came to mind. It was Jordan Howard, who I knew didn't finish that bad because he played all season. And then I looked at you and I thought immediately Leonard Fournette. So it became a process of elimination.
Yeah, that's why I kind of saved that for the end so it didn't give it away too much. But
can he play 16 games?
That's all we need.
Physically possible.
Obviously, John is out there with his Fournette 2020 signs, promoting. But I'm vice president right behind him. I'm pretty sure, Walker, you're in the same boat. I mean, we are a Leonard Fournette podcast, and I think, the fantasy futures last year really sold me on him when John came out with those huge numbers. I didn't expect what John was touting, but I also didn't expect him to only play 8 games. So all reports coming out, the way he's talking, the way the team's talking about him, hopefully, I haven't heard any reports that he's lost lots of weight and looks buff because that's.
Oh no, they said he lost. I heard that he was losing weight somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Listen, he supposedly he was taking it seriously last year too, if I recall correctly. I'm gonna have to look back at 2018, mini camp musings when fucking Leonard Fournette was, going to have a career year. I read that little sub quote that their offensive coordinator said that he wants to be the puzzle, or what was that?
Yeah,
crazy ass. That he wants 2,000 yards. He doesn't want to be part of the puzzle. He wants to be the puzzle. all that did was confuse me more on Leonard Fournette. It didn't make me feel, all warm and fuzzy about him. But he's in about as good of a position as he's going to get. There's no one that's really threatening him in that backfield. Literally Alfred Blue. The dude that couldn't steal Lamar Miller's job for 3 years in Houston is the one nipping at Lenny's heels. He's got a competent quarterback. He's got decent wide receivers. That offensive line should be much upgraded, and they do want to run the ball. If he can stay on the field, not fighting people on the sidelines, getting in car accidents on the way into games, and rolling his ankle week 4, that dude's due for a monster season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's finally kind of getting used to the cold in the NFL, traveling around. But the thing that brings another good point. I mean, people might still be doing rookie draft and stuff. That's why I own Fournette, and I didn't even take Rockwell Armstead, is because I think he just shakes this shit off and finally becomes a man and realizes, hey, man, I need to provide for whatever he's got going on in his family, or I don't think he's married, but that's a different story. And I mean, we always get into these character guys, and maybe Fournette has turned the corner and maybe he hasn't. We'll see very early, I think. I don't think it's one that's going to be dragged out very long this season. So I don't know. That's why I'm not a huge believer in the Armstead guy. Just because Leonard Fournette's been a shithead for the last 2 or 3 years doesn't mean this guy's going to take his job. And I see Fournette performing this year, and I don't think Armstead will ever get a chance, and he'll just be like another guy that, he'll end up in the XFL when it comes out in a couple of years. So that's where I'm going with that one.
Yeah, his ADP is currently 31st overall, which is RB14, which is also crazy. That means half of the first 3 rounds basically are running backs, which is pretty wild. But
it also means he's someone's RB2.
Yeah, but you're not going to – there's very few RB2s that have that upside. I was actually tweeting earlier today, and it's like –
top 5 upside, really.
RB1, like number 1 overall. If he stays on the field, 240 points is probably his floor if he plays 16.
Well, we got to look at his real life ceiling. What did he get his rookie year? Wasn't that his ceiling pretty much?
Yeah, and even that he had some duds. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think his ceiling is RB1. I just how you extrapolated out last year and what they're reporting. I mean, I think 50 receptions is his absolute ceiling, which would still be good for him. But he would have to get that 12-plus touchdowns rushing on top of it just to try and threaten, because there'll be running backs that are going to get 80, 90 catches this year. There's going to be running backs that get 12 to 15 rushing touchdowns. I mean, it's just going to happen. I just don't think he's going to be able to do both enough to ever be RB1. And he's missing 2 games. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. He's going to put 2 games in there somewhere that he doesn't play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the thing that's good about him, at least I have him in a couple leagues, what I like about him compared to other players, with the exception of the handful of times if he gets hurt, the first possession of a game, and you end up starting him and getting a fucking goose egg because he rolls his ankle on the first play, he's out. You know what I mean? Like the weeks he's not doing good, he's out that week. So it's not detrimental to your team because you could fill it in. I'd rather have a guy like that than someone who has these huge, just throwing a name out there, kind of like Jay Ajayi, who, 20 this week. And you go, 3, thanks.
Don't ever compare. I don't care if Fournette never plays another game. I mean, and I don't care that it was because Ajayi was an Eagle. But the thing is, everyone knew what was going to happen to Ajayi, except for the guys that were truthers. Am I wrong? Were you a truther, Walker?
No, I was the guy that said sell the shit out of him when he got traded to the Eagles. And
John, were you a truther?
Exactly 0 people on the internet listen to me.
I'm an Ajayi guy. I like him. I think he's a good football player.
John still thinks there's a chance.
Where is he even at now?
He's
somewhere in South Beach.
Unsigned.
Back running on the Smurf turf.
So if you're still a believer, why wouldn't a team like Houston bring him in? Or a team like, I don't know, anyone that needs a running back?
But I mean, for a guy like him, if you're still at home, because I don't even think he's going to be ready for camp still, right? Isn't he like a mid-season guy? I don't remember when he tore his ACL.
Probably close to mid-season. Yeah,
but a guy like that, it does him no good to sign with anyone now anyway. You wait till camp start. Someone's blowing their ACL out in camp this year.
Here comes John. Fucking Pied Piper.
It happens every year.
Hit by a car.
I mean, we're talking about Fournette. Why? Let's keep it here. Fournette blows his ACL
fantasy
out.
Sniper.
Yeah, second practice of the season, and now they need kind of a bruising back to go with what they have there with Alpha Blue, and they're not going into the year with Alpha Blue and Raquel Armstead. So if I'm, Jay Ajayi, I'm sitting there. I'm not signing with, like you said, Houston. I'm not going to Houston and being part of that revolving chair when I can wait until camp's going on and somebody's like, oh shit, we need a running back to, run between the 20s and get us 2 yards when we need it. I'll go take that job. So I'd be out of football too. Yeah.
Huh?
That's good.
Sorry, guys.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying? But my point with Fournette is when he's out, he's out. I'd rather have a guy who's going to get me points when he's out there. And then when he's out, he may miss time because of injury, which sucks. But you have time to know he's injured to make your appropriate lineup changes. Instead of having guys that go out there and throw the, 6 duds a year and 6 RB2s a year, fuck that.
John, I don't know if I can give you that one of Fournette's value adds is that when he's not playing. Because the reality of that situation is because it's happened far too often. When he gets hurt, he's a multi-game absence. I get what you're saying.
There was also that shit on a Saturday. He's like, I ain't coming out. It's too fucking cold to play tomorrow. Like, I get paid enough for this, but I think he's finally in the mode. Not to keep talking about Fournette, and hopefully I'm not jinxing him here, but he's finally in the mode to realize, hey man, if I want to get paid, and there's there ain't wide receiver money, it ain't quarterback money, it's running back money. So if you want to maximize your value and not get one of these $8 million guaranteed and that's it contracts, then you have to go out and perform. And hopefully this is the year where he realizes that.
Well, here's a question too. This is year 4 for him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So after this year, they have to decide if they're picking up his 5th-year option, right? Or is it already a done deal?
No, I think you have to decide.
So
this year.
They've got a small window to decide what they're going to do with him because I don't know off the top of my head, but it's whatever that 5th-year rookie deal is nuts. He would end up being for at least 1 year, probably top 5 if I had to guess, salary-wise, how those things usually shake out. 4th overall pick, 5th-year deal. I bet it's close to it's in the mid to high teens, I bet. So is Jacksonville a team that wants to take that on at the running back position? I mean, there's another reason they could have brought Armstead in is because they may already know unless Fournette blows it out of the water this year, they're not looking to pump that much money into the RB1 spot.
There's 0% chance they're going to pick up his 5th-year option. But it doesn't say it on spot track, but 2021 is his 5th-year option. And didn't they void all the guarantees of his money because his deal was fully guaranteed at $27 million?
Yes.
But it doesn't say what that option is. But
maybe it was already canceled as part of the thing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it says they still control his rights in 2021. It just doesn't have the salary, so it is that option. And he's a UFA in 22. I don't see a world where they're going to pay him top 5 running back money. They might run him into the ground this year and move on.
Which is good for us, too.
Yes. And but no one's buying. No one's selling. I mean, he's one of those guys that is hard to move, hard to acquire. So I can't wait to see what happens this year with Leonard Fournette. We spent quite a bit of time on that guy. I mean, that's how much love and, hope we have for one player.
That's why I saved him for last.
But before we move on, this is only year 3 for him.
Yeah, he's got one more.
It's one more and then the UFA year. I don't know why I was skipping a year. So, yeah, they still control him for 2 more years before they'd have to make that decision.
And that's
could
what –
be right, though. Could be 2 years. It could be 2 years of just grinding his ankles into dust.
Which I do feel the Cowboys are doing. They don't want to pay him. I think they're going to pay him Murray and pay Dak, and if we win a ship, maybe Zeke gets a contract. But if we don't get there on Zeke's legs, I think they move forward. But I also don't believe Mike Weber is the next guy. So if you're buying that hype, don't buy it.
It's Walker's boy, Pollard.
No, Pollard is mine.
Just because he got drafted by the Cowboys, he doesn't automatically become your guy. Check the tapes.
You want to tape? I'm the one that took him in the 3rd round of our mock, and everyone shit on me. So
rightfully so.
Because you took him too soon. That doesn't mean I didn't like him 2 months before that.
You can see all my drafts and my teams. Got Pollard everywhere, but that's for a different show. We got anything else, fellas?
That was it. Those were my big mysteries and a couple little weird stat outliers I find. I didn't mean to stump you guys so hard, but like I said, these are some weird ones. So I thought the stats I found kind of stood out, and that's why I picked these guys. But hope it wasn't too hard.
You are right.
I
just checked the tape. You did bring up Pollard in our rookie shows, but you also said once he got drafted by the Cowboys, I'm down with him. Well, I picked him up. Okay, he's my boyfriend now.
There you go.
All right,
hey, you're gonna have him. I don't want to root for him, but I pitched a big old goose egg today. But what I really want to know is, Andrew, you never muted yourself so much during this vacation talk. I am thoroughly interested in what you were actually talking about during the bulk of this podcast.
I'm trying to hold all these beers and fucking drinking the whole time. The whole show would sound like, they are flowing. It's humid down here. I'm trying to get water intake. Thank God it's Coors Light, not IPAs right now.
Let people know how you're living, man.
Living good. I'm right now, Walker. I am vacationing for you. You don't get enough.
Are you on a 10-day vacation?
Actually,
how long are you down there?
I would hold off on editing until the alcohol's out of your system, though.
Yeah, I will.
We're not editing this one.
We might have to do a little plug and play here and there, but no, I got here. When did I get here? Saturday, and I don't leave till what's today? Next
24th.
Tuesday or Wednesday or something. So it's a long one, man. I don't think Florida is gonna.
Yeah, so you're pushing like a 10-dayer.
It's like a 13-dayer almost or some shit. I don't know. I can't count. I'm on bar.
I don't take 2 vacations that long.
Well, that's what I said. I'm doing it for you guys.
You.
I mean, I'll mail you. You just let me know. You guys need some Mickey shirts or something? Be like, hell yeah, I was there. I got you covered. But
listen, it would have been way cooler if you took the RV cross country.
Oh hell no! I couldn't drive it 3 hours thinking that it's just gonna flip over.
National Berks Christmas staycation.
No, yeah.
I got my Mickey shirt. Well, my kid's Mickey shirt.
It's definitely a child shirt, John.
I'm not wearing this fucking awful shit.
Put it on
around your neck or something.
That's what I feel like when I'm at Disney, wrapping something around my neck.
That's why I didn't go. I just sent the wife with the little one and let her ride solo. But I'm going to tell you, John, you gave it to me and Walker right in the rear end today. No lube. You didn't even spit on it. It hurt.
That's a very Dabari-esque podcast right there.
Man.
you didn't give it.
Mission accomplished.
I'm pretty sure while he was bored at work, quote unquote, he was just like, how can I stick it to these guys with no one they can guess? Because
I thought Walker would get Marlon Mack for sure. Humphreys, I thought was a tough one. I knew somebody would get Fournette. Allen Robinson, I was surprised you got that one. Stafford, I thought was easier. And then the other ones were kind of weird and random. I mean, there was nobody, there's no way to guess Jermaine Kearse had the same targets as Amari Cooper. That's just weird.
Yeah, you still thought we would.
Okay. I didn't think you'd get that one, no. I just thought it was weird. I wanted to bring it up. It's like, jot this down.
All right.
Andrew, have a blast. Andrew, boy, didn't get your name. Nice to meet you, man.
That's Coven.
Hey, fellas. Coven, take it in.
There he is. Cut him in at the end. You should have had him do the outro.
Don't let an alligator eat him, please.
I won't. He'll be living by the time he's back to Washington.
Or close facsimile of.
Fucking Weekend in Bernie's.
We'll
have Scott Fish out and he'll be popping Burke up with sunglasses.
Yeah. As long as he can hit that edit button. Hit the record button.
All right, fellas.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, guys.
Later. Don't you fucking laugh.
I was doing fine. And then I saw fucking Walker laughing, and I couldn't get to my finger.
Totally fucking face it out.